Hey folks, Captain Dan here. Stay tuned. We're going to go over the Garmin Sirius XM electronic setup, providing you sea forecasts, conditions, fishing conditions through the Garmin unit on our Grady White 33 Express. Stay tuned. Hey folks, welcome back. So we're on the Grady 33 Express. I'm going to go over the Garmin units that we have installed. We have two, a 7612 and 8612. They're paired up, network, along with autopilot and a bunch of other features. But today I'm going to go over the Sirius XM subscription and add-on that we've got. Great product. Not only do we get satellite music offshore or onshore, but we also get weather forecasts, weather conditions, sea conditions, sea temperatures, and even fish forecasting. Puts all the data together, and it gives you the best spots to fish for tuna, mahi, wahoo, swordfish. Great product. Saves gas. You'll know where to find your targets. So if you haven't been on a 33 Express, they have a really nice console for the electronics. I'm going to show you in a second, where everything is hidden and it lifts up and exposes your electronics, so you don't have to worry about locking them or keeping them safe, and they stay out of the weather. So on a 33 Express, I've had all my switches redone last year. If I hit this button here, it's going to open up the electronics box. Really nice Grady feature. All Grady owners are familiar with it, and it keeps everything brand new, always out of the weather and secured. So what's happening here is I've got our 8612 loaded with the weather forecasts and weather conditions, and you can see it's satellite. I have it focused on Florida because right here up in the northeast New Jersey, there's blue skies. There's really nothing to track. So I'm tracking a storm in Florida. Hopefully you can see that well. It gives you a good idea of being offshore, being able to see the conditions, what's coming at you, how to dodge storms if you want to. And I mentioned this, I'll mention this a little bit later, but right here our subscription is updating. So all the features need to be updated through the Sirius XM data, and it tells you the last date and time and how many packets of information it received, so that you know you've got all the features. So right now we're waiting for cloud tops, hurricane tracking, and sea temperatures to load. So with my Garmin units, you're looking at the 8612. Next to it I've got the 7612. This boat was purchased, it's a 2008 Grady 33 Express. When I purchased it, it had the 7612 installed on it. I had the electronics console redone and paired it up with an 8612, the latest unit at the time. It's about maybe 2 or 3 years old now. So I did go for the Sirius XM subscription, and so far I'm really liking it. Once you go into your unit and you go to charts, you've got all your normal charts, your nav chart, your fishing chart, your fish ID 3D chart, radar overlays. But right here begins the Sirius XM with the SXM symbol on it. So I've got precipitation, you can track a storm. Forecast, it'll give you forecasts for X number of days into the future. You can scroll forwards and backwards through the days. Sea temperature conditions, sea conditions, which is wave and wind, and fish mapping, which is a really cool scenario. So again, I am on the precipitation panel, and I'll go right here, and I'll put our boat in Florida. And you can see I'm tracking a storm in Florida. And this is maybe not that useful if you're offshore. You probably want to zoom in. And if I zoom in, I can see where the storm fronts are, the storm clouds. And I can also track lightning. So this is very useful if I wanted to dodge a storm. You can see right here we're off of Port St. Lucie. I can dodge it if I'm getting out of it, going inshore or shore, so we can navigate the storms. And you can see what's coming. Maybe you call it a day sooner. This looks pretty bad. This is off of Hollywood, and it looks like pretty serious wind and rain. Got the red color there, just like any other weather map. Okay, so next tab I want to talk about is sea temperature. Sea temperature, obviously super important to all us fishermen. understanding where those eddies are, where those warm pockets of water are, especially in the Northeast when we do our offshore fishing. We're limited to our time frame. Typically the summertime into early fall, we can go for tuna, some mahi, and we're looking for those eddies of warm water coming off the Gulf Stream. So if I go to sea temperature, again, I'm off Florida, and you could see just by the color chart where the warm water is, the cooler water is. And if I click on the area I'm interested in, it'll tell me it's 78.6 degrees off of Palm Beach. If I go zoom in near the Bahamas and go right there, it's 79, so obviously warmer water there. And in the Northeast, it's really important because we could track those water breaks where the cold water is meeting the warm water, and that's where we typically fish. So these are sea temperature charts, very, very accurate. It comes to us again from Sirius XM. So what we looked at so far was precipitation, which we were tracking a storm, the forecast, weather forecast, sea temperatures, and now we've got sea conditions. So if I go into sea conditions, it's telling me what the sea conditions are. Here I'm off of Cape Canaveral, and if I look, it's just 1.6 foot waves. Again, we've got the wind symbol and direction, and what's really neat about this is I can go forward into time, and in 12 hours it looks like something's going to pick up. You can see, hopefully you can see that 5.4, it looks like where my cursor's at off of Cape Canaveral, it's going to be 5.8 foot waves, and it looks like the wind's going to pick up. Again, they're using the same symbols as before for wind and waves. So folks, one of the last options I have, and I paid a little extra for this, which is the fish mapping. Not sure it's worth it in Northeast. We don't have that kind of water and temperature conditions like you do in Florida. But if I go into fish mapping, basically it's combining the updwelling, the sea temperatures, all sorts of parameters to say where's the best spot to go fishing for certain species. So over here on the legend, it's got billfish in green, mahi in orange, swordfish in a light blue, and tuna in a darker red. So if I zoom in here, the computer is telling me these are the areas where you're most likely going to find those species because of different things that are combining. It also has the chlorophyll data, so it's giving me where the chlorophyll breaks are, where the warm water is meeting the cold water, where there's some updwelling, and all of that put together is doing the calculations for the best, most likely spots to hold fish. So just to wrap up our electronics video, typically we run with our charts on. Now I can run with the Sirius XM charts on, showing water temperatures and things like that, but I usually run with my normal nav chart. And on the other screen, I'll run with the depth finder, sonar, and radar. If we're running at night especially, we'll run the radar. We may run the radar wide open on its own chart, its own display, if we don't need the depth finder. If we're navigating some of the channels here locally, we'll try to run the depth finder so to make sure we stay out of trouble. So this wraps up the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was informative. Again, we'll be covering more of the electronics we use and how we use them in the upcoming videos. Thank you and enjoy.